Alan Butler Adventure Vehicle Reviews. We're here with the Project Power Wagon, Episode 3, and we got Airlift Company to give us some load support for the wagon. Stay tuned. Now, from time to time, we do tow a heavy load with this Ram Power Wagon. As you can see behind me, there's a fifth wheel trailer, and that thing weighs about almost 9,000 pounds dry. Now, the weight rating for this, the tow rating, is about 10,000 pounds for this Power Wagon, and it changes a little bit depending on what trim level you get for Power Wagon. Now, you gotta think, why is Power Wagon's tow rating a little bit lower than its 2500 stock cousin? Well, it's because of the softer suspension in it. And so that's why we went through Airlift Company to help us out. And so they hooked us up with a set of load lifter 5000 airbags and a wireless air remote so that we control each airbag independently and the pressure that goes in it. And what you're gonna get today is a brief installation and a review of how these airbags help out with the Power Wagon and all the weight it has to tow. Some of the benefits that Airlift says you're gonna get from installing their airbags onto your rig is you're not gonna get uneven tire wear if you're hauling heavy loads all the time. What happens is you get that squat, the front tires don't have as much weight as they used to have, the rear tires have more, it doesn't help with the steering. So when you return the vehicle back to a stock level, the way it's intended to be from the factory, it's gonna help out with your steering because the weight's gonna be back up on the front of the truck. It's gonna help out with your lighting, the lighting position down the road so that you can clearly see where you're going and your light isn't shooting up into the sky and into the driver's eyes of those people coming at you and you get flashed at and everybody thinks that you're a jerk. Also, it's gonna help with your suspension system in the rear. It's a supplement, it's a helper bag, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's gonna take some of the stress off your springs and your shocks and other suspension components so that this truck and its suspension is gonna last a lot longer. Before we get started with the install, what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna show a measurement of how this Power Wagon rides stock height with 35-inch Toyo AT2s. No bags are on it, and it's not loaded up to the trailer yet. Let's take a quick measurement. Okay, it looks like it's about 43.5 inches. Now we have the fifth wheel hooked up to the back of this Power Wagon, and it kind of squatted a lot, actually, about 2.5 inches. So we went from about 43.5 inches to just under 41 inches. Before we do any airbag install, we need to do a couple of initial braking tests. One at 25 miles per hour and one at 35 miles per hour. Each will be measured for a comparison to when we finally install the bags. This is going to be the braking test. No airbags, hauling the trailer. Here we go. Get our speed up here, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. So that right there, we'll take our measurement down. Now the next test we're gonna do is at 35 miles per hour, slowing down as fast as I can. Again, no bags. We'll take another measurement and then we're gonna go back and install this kit. Jeez, it hits hard. Let's measure that real quick. You know, these videos don't all happen by themselves, and it takes a lot of support from some partners. And I want to talk about a partner real quick called Creative Arms. They've been very supportive with us and quite helpful, especially when we go out on our hunts. So check these guys out real quick.
AVR is proudly supported by an American firearms company called Creative Arms. Creative Arms weapons are machined from 7075 T6 aluminum with an incorporated hammer-forged barrel from Daniel Defense. Creative Arms also manufactures their own silencers which can accommodate several types of platforms. If you're in the market for a dependable and accurate weapon, visit Creative Arms at
Here is a quick overview of the installation. Thankfully, these directions were easy to read and understand. The only thing which would have made this install a breeze would have been putting the truck on a lift. But hey, I like crawling around in the dirt. Here I assembled the bags onto the cradles and then placed the assembled bags onto the rear axle. Then I attached the included steel braided hose lines to the bags. Next, I torqued everything down to the directions. And now it was time to get started on the wireless air system. Locating the mounting points of the frame, I attached the compressor and other components with the provided hardware. I then ran the air lines and secured them to the truck with zip ties. Be sure not to place these lines at pinch points and allow some room for the lines to move freely with the truck suspension. Lastly was the electrical equipment. I ran the wires to the engine compartment and connected the appropriate wires to the battery and the fuse location. A function test of the system and a check for leaks, and I was ready to roll. Airbags are installed. We're at 65 PSI in each bag. We're going to do a test at 25 miles per hour and see how long it takes to stop. I got 25 real quick. It's like over 20 feet better on the 25 mile an hour test with and without bags. It's 44 feet stopping distance from the front of the truck to the original braking point, and that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. Significant improvement. Now with the bags installed again at 65 PSI, we're going to go up to 35 miles per hour and get on the brakes. Boom! 35 miles an hour actually feels a heck of a lot faster than just doing 25. So let's take our measurement and see what it is. Now on this test, what we're going to do is we're going to go from 5 PSI in the airbags all the way up to almost max. Max is 100 PSI, but right now we're going to go to 95 PSI, and we're going to see how long it takes. And then we're also going to measure what the full squat is of the truck under the weight of the fifth wheel, and then when we lift it all the way up to 95 PSI to see just how far it goes up. Again, loaded. And we're doing it with this wireless air remote. And what it allows you to do is put pressure individually into each bag, or you can actually put the same amount of pressure into each bag. You can do it in 1 PSI increments or 15 PSI increments, and it's really, really easy to use actually. Just a quick read of the direction, and I was able to figure out that you just press the button once and it turns on, and you can input 2 memories in it. And like I said, you can increase the air by 1 PSI in each bag or up to 15 PSI in each bag as we go along. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick measurement of the truck full squat with only 5 PSI in the bags, right here to the top of the wheel well, and it looks like we're at 41 inches and a quarter. 41 inches and a quarter. And now we're going to time it all the way up to 95. So here we go. And begin. And we're pretty much at 95 at 1 minute and 50 seconds. 1 minute and 49 seconds to get to 95 PSI. So let's go ahead and roll out the tape and see just how high we've gotten. I can tell there's quite a difference. That's going to be 44 inches on the dot. And what we'll do too is we'll take the fifth wheel all the way off the truck and we'll do the same thing under no load. Let's find out just how much these airbags are going to lift this truck with no trailer attached. Right now, they're at 5 PSI and we're just under 44 inches. So we're going to raise it all the way up to 95. and see just how high it goes. 95. And there it goes, all the way up. There you go. Got about 1.25 inches taller. It's 44 inches to about 45.25 inches. We got the load lifter 5000 Ultimate Plus airbags installed along with the wireless air. We've done our testing. We're all done here. So now let's go into kind of my opinion of this product and how it's going to do for you. Now I've put some miles on this truck with the airlift bags installed, and I have enough miles behind it and the different types of terrain that we've been driving on to develop kind of an initial opinion. Obviously, the long-lasting opinion, a year or 2 or 5 years down the road, isn't yet to be revealed because I need to see how it's going to do in a long-term test. Of course, Airlift Company does back up their products with a lifetime warranty. So let's talk about some of the things that they promised. Obviously, we did our braking test, and you've seen by the numbers that the brakes were improved from our 25-mile-an-hour test and our 35-mile-an-hour test down to 0 miles per hour. So that's the evidence we showed there. The rest of it's kind of the seat of the pants feeling. As I was driving with no airbags installed, and then with airbags installed raised up to about 65 PSI, which gave the Power Wagon back a stock height, the handling was improved. It was more direct. I had more steering input. It was a positive steering feel, whereas it didn't feel as slushy. Not that it was struggling before, but it just seems to be that much sharper. Of course, the lights now are going to be aimed back at that stock height, so they're not going to be shining in people's faces, and they're going to be putting the light down on the road where you need to see. So in the end, I am pretty happy with this product. Really, what else there is left to do is that this Power Wagon is going to be going off-road a heck of a lot, of course, without the trailer, and so that opinion's yet to come. We're going to see how these airbags hold up at speed, off-road, on-road, in the bumps, in the whoops, and on the rocks. So stay tuned for that. This is going to be it for this episode of Project Power Wagon. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe and give this video a like. You can also see us at adventurevehiclereviews.com. And until next time, get there.